The following is a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network.
Everyone, Huddle Up. It's another week here on your favorite show. You're here listening to the fellas here in the Bambino's Italian Fine Cafe Studios on the Missouri Sports Network. I am Johnny Mack. I'm here with Guy Newcomb and the coach, Darren Archer. Here we got a lot to get to, so we're going to jump right into it. We have breaking news right off the press, which is pretty big for Missouri State athletics. Guy, do you want to tell us who Missouri State Bears are opening up with next year football?
Yeah, I know a lot of folks remember they kind of got canceled that agreement they had with Arkansas because they wanted some more money after they went, FBS, and they wanted to renegotiate, and they just ended up canceling it, hoping they would get somebody to fill that, and they did, and it's none other than the Trojans of USC, and they tripled their money, and they'll be opening up next year in 2025 with University of Southern Cal.
Well, Coach, as some people say, hey, is all money good money, Coach? You tell me.
It's all green and it all spends the same, baby, and that's a big boost for the program. Great opportunity, to open up with perennially top 10 program, and with them making the jump to the FBS, a good way to get the season started next year.
Good. I see if we could keep them anywhere close to the 50s and don't get a 38-0 score in the first quarter, I would be happy with that. So, hey, good for the Bears. A lot going on over there. New president, new athletic director. They're making some moves. I could see here in the next 5 to 7 years, the Bears will be playing in a bowl game, and I'll be excited. And I'll be there rooting on my alma mater and the team I used to play for. Moving on to there, man, there's a lot going on. I think we should open it up right now with as we sitting here, the Royals are up 1-0 over the Orioles, with it being the best 2 out of 3 series, Coach Archer. And it looks like the Royals got a chance to maybe get this win on the road and take this wild card series. What are your thoughts, Coach?
I agree. Huge win yesterday in the series opener, and to get that leg up right off the bat and only have to win 1 out of a possible 2 games, that's a great way to get a 3-game series started. And the strength of the Royals pitching is really showing right now. They've kind of kept the Orioles bats at bay, and really good start. As we're speaking right now, the Royals are up 2-1 in the 7th. We're pre-recording this, so hopefully they can finish it off tonight, get back home, and get ready to play the next round.
Wow. So if they win, and don't have to play, it looks like they'll have the Yankees starting this weekend. So let's just go back to the first game, Guy, with Bobby Witt Jr. That's a guy who's been consistent since he's been called up, and is a big-time big leaguer, and came through again for him.
Well, you look at just his career. His first major league game, he got a walk-off game-winning RBI. And then his first playoff game, he gets the game-winning RBI. I do not know why you let him hit in that situation with the way that Cole Reagan's last night was dealing. And, he ended up coming out in the 6th inning because he cramped up. But the bullpen now, they've gone 32 consecutive innings without giving up a run. And, that's just amazing. But I don't know why you let Bobby Witt hit in that situation, other than the guy behind him, who had 97 RBIs on August 29th when he broke his thumb in that collision at first. And Pasquantino is back in the lineup. The guy hasn't had a major league at bat, though, in 30 days. and you still, I think you have to walk Bobby Witt Jr. there, but he kills you, and he's doing it again today. I mean, he's got the go-ahead RBI in this game here as they go to the top of the 8th inning.
Well, he reminds me of he's a stud. Let's just say that Mike Troutish type of feel when he comes to the plate. He's able to do a lot of things with the bat, not the pop that Trout has, but the ability to put that ball in play and find gaps and holes. Looking forward to see what the Royals can do. If the Royals do end up playing the Yankees, does anybody see them beating the Yankees? Yes or no, Coach?
Yes, with the pitching staff. What's going to be determined is what needs to be determined is the pitching rotation heading into that series. Hopefully they get through this series first, and then the matchups between pitchers for the Yankees. And because I really think it's going to come down to pitching for both teams. And Johnny, I've got to come clean. I've got to come clean. I am jumping on that bandwagon. Move over, Royals fans. I am on the bandwagon.
Well, I'm pretty sure they'll leave a little room for you, Coach, because if not, you can have my seat. Guy, what are your thoughts? You think if they do, and I'm not trying to wish anything on them, but you think they can if they do end up beating the Orioles, you think they can get past the Yankees?
Yeah, I mean, Yankee Stadium in October is the toughest hell place to play in the league, I think. But it's all about these moments. And you talked about Mike Trout. What this reminds me of with Bobby Witt Jr. is a Derek Jeter. When he came up, I mean, he had those moments in those postseason games where he was hitting home runs. He had those special moments. And, Bobby Witt Jr. to go up against head-to-head with Aaron Judge in Yankee Stadium, Bobby Witt's not going to win the MVP. It's going to be Aaron Judge in the American League. But go out and just grab the bull by the horns and see what happens to play on the biggest stage in the biggest city in the country, in the world.
Well, I don't know about the biggest city in the world, because it's not, but it is the biggest city in this country for sure. Let's do this. Let's move on the east side of the state where the Cardinals are going through some things. Not really sure where you're going to watch the Cardinals next year. Not really sure who's going to be up starting in the lineup next year. We do know Mozeliak is coming back for another year. Unfortunate or fortunate, however you want to look at it. And then they do have someone waiting off into the wings, Guy. What are your thoughts about how the Cardinals are saying, well, we're not going to just say, we're going to bring him back for another year, but we got someone in waiting? And what are your thoughts about how that, from an organization that's been run excellently for years, seems to be kind of dropping back into mediocrity?
Yeah, I mean, Kyle Bloom, he's a proven commodity. He did it in other places. They brought him in to kind of revamp the player development with the Cardinals. Why you keep Mozeliak around to oversee that, I have no freaking idea. I don't know why you keep him around. He does have one more year on his contract, so maybe it's a buyout situation where they're basically just going to muzzle him and pay him just to go in and drink coffee. But I don't know why you bring him back. I mean, if you would look at the Cardinals organization, they've got some homegrown talent up right now with Jordan Walker, and Mason Wynn will be the guy coming back. Goldschmidt's probably gone. I mean, he's in his walk year. But you look at Arenado and Goldschmidt, they've had 4 years together and they haven't won a playoff game. And maybe two of the best set of corner infielders the Cardinals have ever had, outside of maybe when Pujols is playing first and Scott Rowland's at third. But I don't know why you bring him back in that situation, and they've got to start being able to develop pitching. They have, in the last 25 years, they have one pitcher that they drafted and brought up through their system that has 30 major league starts in 25 years, and that's Dakota Hudson. Nobody else that they have brought up has gotten 30 major league starts under their belt. If they do, they're not with the Cardinals. They traded them, and they turned into all-stars. But I think it's a good move, and I think the fans have demanded it. You're still going to see some stuff at the turnstile next year because Mozeliak's still there.
Coach, real quick, here's a question for you. Do you think Marmol makes it through all the next year? Yes or no, Coach? What do you think?
From what I'm hearing, yes, he does. Katie Wu, who is the beat writer for the St. Louis Cardinals, has kind of put it out there that the rumors that she's hearing is that Harbaugh will be back for another season. Now, that remains to be seen. A lot of that is going to depend on who becomes available. Hey, if there's a good name that pops up, a very well-respected coach that can kind of rein things in from the bench standpoint, they may, that's a perfect opportunity to go get that person. So I think it's kind of wait and see right now, but I would bet not a small fortune, but a small amount of money that he stays.
Well, it'll be interesting for sure. I know next year if something doesn't change, I know some heads are going to roll. But that's it for our first segment here on Huddle Up inside the Bambino's Italian Fine Italian Cafe here on the Missouri Sports Network. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. We got some Chiefs to talk about. The referees truly cheating for the Chiefs? Are there really individuals that would go out of their way to make sure Taylor Swift sees her way onto a national TV game with the Chiefs being in prime time and undefeated? Who knows? We'll talk about it next, along with their record and some injuries that have occurred and how the Chiefs will make it through. So don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. You'll be right back. You're listening to Huddle Up.
Hi, I'll have the avocado toast minus the avocado.
So, toast.
Yeah. Everything is so expensive these days.
Hey, Chevy gets it. That's why they're keeping prices down to earth, like on the most affordable EV in America. A super strong and capable Chevy truck.
And a high-tech Chevy SUV.
Why is Chevy making affordable vehicles connected by OnStar? It's so together we can do more.
Bambino's Fine Italian Cafe Studios here on the Missouri Sports Network. Hey, we're glad you're here. Don't go anywhere. Hey, that's DA up there. We call him Coach. That's Guy. We call him Scoreboard Guy. And I'm Johnny Mack here. You just call me J Mac. Hey, we're here. We're going to jump into some Chiefs because a lot of interesting things. Just not just the Chiefs. We'll talk a little football here. We'll jump into Mizzou a little bit here. Maybe talk about some other teams, maybe the Bears also. We'll see what's going on. But what I really want to jump into is the Chiefs. And I said this other day, the Chiefs had to be one of the luckiest teams in the world. Tyreek Hill hits a 3rd and long. I've said this before. Maybe I'm hating. Maybe there's a part of me that's becoming a hater. In the first Super Bowl, Garoppolo misses a wide open guy at the 2-yard line. Chiefs go ahead and punch it in, win the game. The second one, like I said, I have no idea how Jalen Hurts just runs and just drops a football. I went outside, and trust me, I broke up a good little sweat. I was sweaty and wet, and I carried the football, and I ran, and I jumped, and I hurdled, and I kicked over trash cans, and not once did I just drop the damn football. And then last year, of course, a guy runs out on the field, nothing going on, tears his Achilles, and all of a sudden Patrick Mahomes gets these phantom plays and they win the game. Hey, good for them. But this year, Chiefs are up a little bit against something. Father Time. Travis Kelce looks a little bit older. They are undefeated. They're winning by very slim margins. Guy, do you think Father Time's catching up with them, or you just think they're just kind of lackadaisically running through the first couple games of the season?
Well, I think one thing, I think Father Time is catching up to Travis Kelce. I don't doubt that for a second. He was non-existent in their first 3 games. They needed him this last game. I think another thing is just screwy injuries. Pacheco breaks his lower leg, so he's out. We don't know when he's coming back. So that's running back number 1 is out. Then, CEH was on the non-injury list. With PTSD or symptoms similar to that. So he was ineligible for the first 4 weeks. Now he's back as far as being able to be on the 53-man roster in week 5. So they go out and they sign Kareem Hunt. Then they lose, Hollywood Brown in the very first play of the preseason. And he may be out the entire year. And then you lose Rashee Rice on number 1, Mahomes throws a horrible interception. And then he comes over to the sideline, and it wasn't intentional, but he's trying to dive at the guy. Well, ends up tearing Rashee Rice's ACL. So he may be done for the season. I think as you look back, the Chiefs now have won 10 in a row going back to last year. 9 of those games have been one-score games. Andy Reid just knows how to close it out. They just know something that nobody else knows. But we'll see. Now they're going to have to go out and get a wide receiver. The trade deadline is November 5th. but they only have $4.5 million worth of cap space. So who do you get? You know, you can't get Devontae Adams. I mean, he's a $44 million hit, cap hit. You can't do that. You know, there's T. Higgins maybe at Baltimore,
Cincinnati.
at Cincinnati, that, you know, he's under the, you know, the tag, so he might be willing to come over for one more year of that to finish out this year, because he's not going back to Cincinnati after they tagged him. You know, so maybe they want to get a draft pick out of him. Or, you know, Amari Cooper's another one. He's only an $8.5 million cap hit. You know, but yeah, I don't know, but they're going to have to do something, because they can't. If they don't do anything and they get to the playoffs, if Andy Reid doesn't win Coach of the Year, that's a fiasco with what he's dealing with right now. And Mahomes ain't playing well. I mean, and I think it's more on the offensive coordinator side. Matt Nagy's been with him now. This is 20th game or 19th game. He's thrown 20 interceptions. So I don't know. Maybe that's a long-winded answer, but they're struggling right now. They're going to have to do something.
Coach, I think that a lot of it is you got more Joe. Your Joe's better than mine. It's going to play. And I think the injury bug catches up to everyone. As long as Mahomes stays healthy, Worthy can stretch the field. You see they ran him on an underneath route, which is Rashid's right type of route, maybe a combo route, and he gets the first down to finish out the Chargers. Coach, do you think they're playing on borrowed time, Coach, or you think it's just kind of the way a long season plays out where the intensity level gradually picks up? They're just playing it out right now.
Gosh, I don't know if I have the answer to that, Johnny.
Yeah.
I think both are possibilities, honestly. The injury bug has definitely bit them hard. But like you said, that's part of professional football. It's next man up.
Yeah.
There are a lot of very good teams. Miami is one that comes to mind right off the bat with not having Tua. And, you know, when you lose one or two keystones to your offense, especially, and even defense to a certain aspect, but especially your offense, it can make for some long days on Sundays. So they're definitely going to have to make some moves before the trade deadline. You know, Guy mentioned Amari Cooper. I think that's probably going to be their target. But not only is he going to be on the Chiefs' radar, he's going to be on a lot of people's radar.
Yeah.
You know, if they're willing to part with him. So it'll be interesting moving forward to see how this team reacts. And I'd say they're probably going to have to – Nagy's going to have to get a little bit creative on the offensive play calls. You know, Chiefs are so built around going downfield, and they may have to take – you know, it may have to be 4 yards in a cloud of dust for a while till they get some people healthy or get some people in there that can relieve that pressure, so to speak. But you know, like you said, back to your original question, I think it's a little bit of both. Father Time is catching up, and in some instances, but I also think they've been hit extremely hard by some key offensive players with the injury bug.
I really believe this. I think a lot of it. I think the NFL, Patrick Mahomes has learned how to make a 100-yard field not seem that long. And when you give him the ball to 30-yard line, I mean, the kid got 70 yards. He really basically has 35 yards before they get into a place where they can get some field goal, get some points. I really thought the analytics worked against the Chargers last week. I think they should have kicked the field goal with 9 minutes left, and then were able to maybe have them drive a longer field, a shorter field, and they gave him a short field to work with, a long field to work with, and he just grounded out that clock. And analytics, here's what I say about analytics, gentlemen, and all those out there listening and on the Missouri Sports Network. Analytics work if everything maybe lined up. But let me tell you something. If your junior high team is on the 4-yard line and it's 4th down against the varsity team, damn it, don't go for it. Kick the field goal. I don't give a damn about analytics, okay? I'm not listening to what the analytics say. If you let Chris Jones say, you trying to tell me that I know y'all not going to run, he's one of the best to ever do it, and I don't say that lightly. If he can pin his ears back, you're going to catch hell. And so these analytics go out the window when you're in situations like where you really can't run it. And you're trying to say, should I kick it and let Patrick Mahomes drive 70 yards on me? Or should I not and give him 90 yards and he's going to eat up this damn clock? And so I think they win a lot inside of people's heads. Let's move on, guys. We could talk about the Chiefs all day. Hey, Mizzou is headed up to Kyle Field. Coach, let me know. Right now they're underdog. What do you think? You think they got a chance, Coach? Be honest with me. The way they played against Vanderbilt and Boston College, what are your thoughts, Coach?
It was probably a good time for a week off to kind of right the ship a little bit, to give them time to get some injuries healed up and get healthy and just kind of regroup, so to speak.
Sure.
They're undefeated and they're ranked ninth in the nation, but they haven't looked like a number 9 team or top 10 team to that aspect, to this point. So it'll be an interesting game. Texas A&M hangs their hat on defense. And, one thing I have said is that they've got to be a little more creative with their offense on the offensive side of the ball. They've got some really good athletes, a really, really good receiving core that are strictly receivers. And, if they can get, I don't necessarily care for the Wildcat, formation, but if you can get them in those type of situations to get the ball in their hands without throwing it to them, so to speak, hand it off to them, I think that would help their cause a little bit, just change things up.
Guy, I'm going to let you jump in on Missouri State, but this is really quick, Guy. Do you think the Tigers got a chance in Kyle Field? I know they do. I'm not impressed with A&M. Guy, what is your prediction on the score up there?
Well, I think it's going to be a tough road for Mizzou. Now Brady Cook's been in these, atmospheres. He played in the Cotton Bowl last year. I don't think that's going to face him. But you're talking about 110,000 fans there at Kyle Field at Texas A&M, and maybe one of the best home field advantages with regards to fans in the country. So I'm going to say Texas A&M comes out on top here.
Well, Mizzou is one thing. Missouri State's put together an impressive season, had a 38-31 win over Youngstown. Guy. With all that being said, they're playing good football. The next game is the 12th at Illinois State. Have you seen the improvements you've been looking for with them, Guy?
I have indeed. I tell you, the biggest thing is they've been able to protect the quarterback. I mean, Jacob Clark has had an amazing season. Already 2 times Missouri Valley Conference Offensive Player of the Week. He was 21 of 29 for 325 yards and 3 touchdowns against Youngstown State. But the most impressive thing in that game was what he did with his legs. As he gets a 40-yard run late in the fourth quarter with 8 seconds left to set up the winning touchdown. And you just go back over the last 3 games. They've won 3 in a row now. He's 76 of 95 for 116 yards, 8 touchdowns, and no interceptions. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, that is incredible, but they've been able to protect him. He's not laying on his back a lot.
That's what has been impressive. We'll see what they do coming up on the 12th at Illinois State. And then they come back home for homecoming, which will be a big day. Hey, look, we're not going to get out of here without saying about anything without talking about Evangel, who's 4-0. Coach, DA, either one of y'all could take this, but they're doing what they got to do. Guy and Coach 4-0. I mean, I love it that they're solidifying their program with good recruits and some homegrown kids, Guy.
Yeah, you look at every time Coach Heppola does not miss the quarterback club, Springfield Area Quarterback Club. We meet at Bambino's every Monday. 11:30 food is served. Coaches begin to speak there. We got 18 area high school coaches involved on a rotational basis. Coach Heppola is always there, but he talks about, hey, he's going to recruit kids that's a tank of gas away because he wants people in the stands. And, they lead, or I shouldn't say they lead the conference in attendance, but they're in the top 10 in the nation in NIA in attendance. And now they're playing at a gorgeous facility right now at Nixa, but they continue to win, and people come to watch people who win.
Yes,
And that's what he's doing. Now, the game that they got rained out 2 weeks ago down at Nix, or lightning out, they have decided that was St. Mary's, and both presidents decided they were not going to make that game up during the bye week because of financial. It was a financial reason. So, but they're ranked in the country, and they seems like he goes to the playoffs every year. But congratulations to Coach Heppel and the Valor.
Absolutely. Hey, don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Got some high school sports to talk about. A lot of big games coming up. A lot of big games in the past. We'll try to give you an overview of what's going on. And so don't go anywhere. You're listening to Huddle Up here on the Missouri Sports Network inside of the Bambino's fine Italian cafe studio. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Imagine a bank that goes where you go, creating seamless solutions for every step in your financial journey, allowing you to manage your money the way you want to, with a banking relationship that makes every day extraordinary. Imagine a world full of possibilities, always within reach. Central Bank. We do banking better.
Welcome back, everyone. Here you listen to Huddle Up inside of the Bambino's fine Italian cafe studio here on the Missouri Sports Network. Johnny Mack here with Guy, scoreboard guy, Coach DA. Hey, a lot going on the high school sports scene. It is fall, and football kind of takes the front when it comes to it, even though we cover all of it. We'd like to get off into some of the football things. Knicks are just doing what they do. I got a chance to watch Kickapoo a couple times, got a couple impressive wins. Never would have thought the victory they had a couple weeks ago over Webb City. And, they got some young talent. They're gelling. So you give credit where credit is due to these kids that put in the work. DA, Coach, let's start with you, Guy. What do you see? Who's the most impressive so far on this football season, early season, that's been doing things that you might have thought they were going to do, but are they superseded even those expectations?
Well, I think, here in Southwest Missouri, the first team I look at is Seneca. I mean, Seneca, they have been dominating people all season long. They dominated a very good Mount Vernon team who just beat Lamar for the first time in 16 years at least. And they dominated them. Marionville, they're the Class 1 defending state champion. They come back in with a lot of guys coming back. They're dominating. But then you look at a Nixa team that has really been building towards this, making a run at those Kansas City and St. Louis Class 6 schools to try and get to a state championship. And this may be the year with what they've got. They've got the McKnight kid at quarterback, who's a D1 prospect in both basketball and football. Should be a junior, but he actually is a sophomore. Then you've got the Cantwell kid, who's the #1 recruit in the country. You got Rabora running out of the backfield. They have moved up all season. They're now ranked #3 in the state. Liberty North, who's the defending Class 6 state champion, has already got 2 losses on the season, but you still can't count them out. And then Lee Summit North. We're visiting with them on high school game day tomorrow. We talked to Capital City today. So there's a lot of teams, and probably still Cardinal Ritter in Class 5. There's nobody going to beat them, I don't think, in any class in the state of Missouri.
DA, what about your end of it? How do you see things, Coach?
Well, if you take a look at Class 6, Rockhurst is at the top of the heap right now, and they've played a very competitive schedule up to this point. And I would say until somebody knocks them off, they're the team to beat in Class 6. As Nuke mentioned, in Class 5, Cardinal Ritter. I mean, they may be the best team in the state, regardless of class.
Right.
Looking on down, Blair Oaks has been very, very impressive in Class 3. Luther North in Class 4 looks awfully good, but there's a reason why they play the games, and these teams have got to get through this rest of this season into playoffs healthy. And it's all about staying healthy and staying fresh and staying on top of your game at this point in time. You're focused in as a coach. You're focused in on next game up. But sometimes it's tough not to kind of start looking ahead. You start looking at who potential district matchups may be. And, if you're fortunate enough to win districts, where do you move on from there and how things play out? So, that's fun for us to do. But as a coach, really try to keep your kids focused on, hey, next game up, let's focus in on that and not worry about anything else.
Right. Absolutely agree with that, Coach. Guys, is there anything that you want to, any games this week that you want to highlight here to our audience that we should be noticing and taking a look at?
Well, I know Smithville, very good Smithville team, and we interviewed Josh Spear, the head football coach at Smithville, and that'll air on High School Game Day on Friday. They got a tough matchup with Platte County. That's a 5-0 team, a 4-1 team, and it's that's one. Elias has got a tough matchup, and it slips my mind now. They may have Rockbridge. No, they just played Rockbridge and lost to
Capital City.
They've got Capital City. This week coming up, just visit with their head coach. He's from Miami, Florida, played college football in California and ended up here, in Jefferson City, Missouri, but he was a great interview as well. Another team I look at, and I should have mentioned, is Fair Grove. Fair Grove's undefeated. They're probably going to run out their remaining season, but they're in a district with Ava, who's very good. And then they've got to see Valley Catholic, who's very good. And then maybe a Tipton. So it's going to be a tough road as you start putting the matchups together, but it's exciting time. Football is half over right now with the regular season. The other fall sports are a little over half over. So it's wind down time right now for coaches and student athletes.
Yep. We want to make sure all of you out there, get out there and support our collegiate athletes, even our high school student athletes, both men and women. Get out, support. They're working hard. And these are those days where if you're not really in the hunt or you're not playing, it gets kind of cold, and you're wondering, when is basketball season going to start? When can I get indoors here? Because this is a little bit too much for me to be out here. But get out there, give them your support. Hey, as we're recording this, pre-recording our show, it looks like the Kansas City Royals have beaten the Baltimore Orioles. Next up for them is the New York Yankees. Good luck to the Royals. Hey, long as you got a chance, you know what I'm saying? Long as you're in the tournament, you got a chance. So congratulations to the Royals on their wild card series victory. Gentlemen, before we get out of here, I'd like to say something. I saw a game last week in which I really wasn't sure how this game was going to play out. Two Titans, two powerhouses went head-to-head on Saturday, Coach Archer, and what would be considered one of the greatest college games. I've seen a lot. I would put it up there as in the top 10 easily. Just for the name recognition and being down. Excuse me, Coach, were you able to see some of that Alabama-Georgia game? And if so, what were your thoughts?
I just about turned it off at halftime, to be honest with you. I thought this is done. But luckily, I kept it on, and Georgia just kept coming back. What a game for the ages.
Yeah.
That's what college football is all about. And that's what, those type of stories, those type of games, once those games get their claws in you, they're not going to let go. And you're a fan, you're hooked for life. So that's the neat thing about it.
Yeah. What about you, Guy? You got a chance to watch it?
I did not get a chance to watch that. I had some other things going on, but went back and watched a replay of it. And it's one of the greatest it's probably the greatest college football game I've seen since USC Texas 15 years ago.
Yeah.
That was an unbelievable game. And it's, there was some coaching, and it's always 2020 is easy. It's hindsight, and it's easy to look back and think, why did they do this? Why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? But everybody does that. But it's going to make the rest of the season interesting because Georgia and Alabama could see each other 3 times this year.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's funny how some of these things play out. I'm going to jump on my soliloquy real quick. If Georgia, they hit that touchdown, if the guy tackles Georgia on the 3 to 5 yard line with 2-some minutes left, Georgia bleeds that clock out, probably scores, and they win the football game. It's just so funny how that missed tackle, guy spins off of him and goes into the end zone. Georgia goes up. The very next play from the line of scrimmage, Alabama throws a catch, which I don't think Milroe, I don't think it wasn't a Heisman moment for me. The throw wasn't spectacular. The catch was what the athleticism, the catch is something that I can make. Look, I'm not just being funny. I'm a hell of an athlete. The catch is something I could make that catch. The ability to stop and restart at that speed is elite. The catch wasn't anything that no one couldn't just go out there. He underthrew him. A guy came back, caught it. Good catch. But the ability to stop and make them kind of run at each other and then restart, that's the elitism that I saw to go, man, that's special there. But it's just so much that goes on in that game. If you went back and watch it again, that goes, man, if this happened, that happened. It goes, but a great game nonetheless. Gentlemen, Guy, tell us again about the Quarterback Club, where people can attend, and what they can expect.
It's every Monday at Bambino's Italian Cafe. You can get there at 11. Food is prepared for you. Coaches begin speaking right at noon. Usually out of there by 12:30 to between 12:30 and 12:40. We've got coaches from Willard, Marshfield Republic, Nixa, Ozark, and as well as the Springfield Public Schools. Coach Epela from Evangel is there as well. This week we're going to get a visit from Miller High School. Luke Rader, whose father Mike was a longtime coach in this area. He's going to come up and talk about Miller and the start that they're off to. And Lebanon coach Will Christian makes his way down a couple times a year. So it's always entertaining. Coaches enjoy it because they get to interact with other coaches from around the area that they don't normally see, during their season. So, but it's always fun. The food is unbelievable. Bambino's, Andy Foster, they do a tremendous job in the food preparation. Get people bragging on that every time. Just come in, sit down, listen. Great atmosphere, great food, and it's on East Battlefield at Lone Pine.
Good. Coach, how's your weekend shaping up, my friend?
Great. I've got my daughter from Indiana and my two granddaughters visiting this weekend. So we're going to spend a little family time, and we are exactly a month away from the start of high school basketball season. So I'm going to enjoy a few weekends off and then get geared up, get back in that coaching mode.
The taste of a good Busch beer. Hey, thank y'all all for listening to Huddle Up here on the Missouri Sports Network inside of Bambino's Fine Italian Cafe studios. Hey, for Guy Newcomb, Darren Archer, I'm Johnny Mack. Hey, we appreciate you listening. Tell a friend. We'll be back next week. Same time, same back channel. Congratulations, KC. DA, I'm going to go home and put on the 2012 World Series, I believe it is. I think I'm going to put on the 2006 World Series with the Cardinals, Game 6. That's what I'm going to watch. DA, you don't have a lot of options, so it has to be the year y'all beat Cleveland. What year was that?
Yeah, 2015.
Well, you go ahead.
That's it. That's all I got, Johnny. That's all I got, buddy.
Thank y'all for listening and watching. We'll be right back. We'll be back next week. We appreciate you. Take care.
This has been a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network. Thank you for